Hey, it's Cara. I'm known for my especially chaotic videos on strategy games like Crusader Kings 3 and Hearts of Iron 4. Today, I'm collaborating with Paradox Interactive for a tutorial on how Victoria 3's warfare mechanics work. In this video, we'll go over building armies and navies, fronts, battles, naval warfare, and peace deals. In Victoria 3, professional standing armies are built through barracks buildings. Every country will start the game with some of them, but you can build more. Every barracks building will give you a battalion of 1,000 servicemen and officers, if there's 1,000 pops available in the state. Naval bases are naval counterparts to the barracks. Each naval base gives you one flotilla to use in your war. Conscription centers are a way to raise temporary servicemen and officers when you're in a diplomatic play or war. Conscription centers exist in every state, and depending on your army model law, conscription centers allow you to pull a certain percentage of your pops out of their professions and into your army. But conscripting pops will prevent those pops from contributing to your economy and put them at risk of becoming a casualty. When you activate conscripts, you can choose which state to pull conscripts from, so it's generally a better idea to pull conscripts into the army from your least productive states. Like all other buildings in Victoria 3, naval bases, barracks, and conscription centers have production methods that you can change throughout the game. With new technologies, you can push the new production methods into your military buildings to upgrade their stats. These new production methods will be more expensive than the last, however, so be sure your economy can afford them. Units that are first built without a general or admiral to command them will be sent into a reserve. To field them in your wars, assign a general or admiral in a strategic region that has reserve units available, and pick one of the two characters to recruit. Make sure to check their character traits to select the best option for your needs. Generals and admirals have a command limit, which is a certain number of units they can field from army or navy reserves in a strategic region. If you have more than the max number of reserves than a general or admiral's command limit, either recruit another character or promote one of your existing generals or admirals to a higher rank. Now that we've covered how to prepare our military, we can dive into the actual mechanics of how warfare works, starting with where most of the action will take place. Land warfare. With every conflict in Victoria 3, a front is automatically created between opposing countries' borders. This is how land warfare in Victoria 3 is conducted. Instead of moving around armies on a map, you control a front, or potentially a number of fronts, and your success in a war depends on pushing the front line into the opposing side's territory. There's 3 orders you can give to a general: a standby, defend front, and advance front. Standby orders a general to remain idle without joining a front. Their troops will be garrisoned to try to best prevent enemy incursion. Defend front tells your general to gather their troops and defend enemy advances along the targeted front line without trying to advance themselves. Their focus will be on intercepting advancing opposing armies and repelling enemy forces. Advance front tells a general to gather their troops and try to attack to make incursions into enemy territory along the targeted front line. Defend and advance orders both carry significant attrition risk with them, as most troops of the time simply died of causes outside of battle while on campaign, so make sure you're prepared to face losses even while outside of combat. Depending on the traits of your generals and your army composition, the exact effects of these orders may vary. Reckless generals will increase offensive attack power at the cost of more casualties. Additionally, the war goals of a territory and even the local terrain will modify how the front progresses throughout the course of the war. During the war, when an advance order is initiated by at least one general on one side of a front, a time to battle meter will fill up, starting a battle. Both sides will automatically select a leading general, and a province will be automatically picked. A number of units will be brought in, both from the participating generals and other nearby generals and garrisons along the front line. Additionally, a random battle condition is rolled for both sides of the fight, helping or hampering either side. Once the fighting starts, each side's strength will be calculated by a balance of power. In each progressive round, the stronger side will inflict damage on the other until one side morale reaches 0, ending the battle. When a land battle ends, depending on how decisive it is, an army captures a number of provinces along the front line. If a defending general wins the battle, they can only retake their own territory. If an attacking general wins the battle, they can advance the front line into enemy territory. Now that we understand how land warfare works, let's get into the details of naval warfare. Naval warfare can be be a critical supporting element to a successful campaign, even letting you win against stronger land armies due to your country's superior ability to control the waves. Just like your army, your navy is wielded by giving your admirals orders. These orders are escort convoys, which allows your assigned navy to protect a supply route, patrol coast, which sends your admiral to a coastline to protect it from other fleets, raid convoys, which tells your fleet to destroy enemy supply lines, and naval invasions, which ships your army off to an enemy coastline, initiating a naval landing which, if successful, will open up a new front line on the enemy shores. If one fleet intercepts another performing a mission, a naval battle is initiated, which essentially works the same way that land battles do. Each side chooses an admiral, rounds up the nearby fleets, and each side gains a random battle condition. Afterwards, the fight progresses until one side morale reaches 0. The side that loses has to return to a friendly coast for repairs and can lose a number of ships. Unlike land battles, which will take enemy territory, naval battles won't gain you any new land, but will disable a fleet for the time being, allowing your admirals to carry out their orders unimpeded. Finally, let's talk about the purpose of why you'd even be interested in going to war in the first place: getting what you want in a peace deal. In Victoria 3, the mechanic behind measuring the progress of a war is war support. Each country in a war starts with 100 war support, but is reduced on either side by having their territory captured, losing pops to battle and attrition, internal turmoil, and having the enemy control their war goals. While technically a country can choose to capitulate at any time, when a country's war support reaches -100, a country is forced to capitulate. A country capitulating doesn't mean the war as a whole ends, however. If there's still war goals that haven't been captured yet, the war can continue on. There is a second way that wars can end too: negotiated peace deals. If a war isn't likely to end by total capitulation, countries that are the main war leaders on either side can send over a peace deal for the war goals being fought for. The war support on both sides of the conflict is important to consider for what a country will accept in a peace deal. Even if the winning side has low enough war support, the losing side may not be willing to agree to giving up as much in the peace deal. Assuming you can construct a deal that works for all sides, you can end the conflict, demobilize your armies, and return all of your conscripted troops home. With that, that's the end of the Victoria 3 tutorial series. I hope you found this series valuable in providing a foundation for understanding Victoria 3. If you did, make sure to subscribe to the Paradox Interactive YouTube channel for more Victoria 3 videos. For now, this is Cara. Thank you so much for watching!